Sam, the world moves with energy. And of all the topics we're talking about in this series, energy is involved in every one of them. What are your thoughts in terms of how a new mindset can open up new possibilities with regard to how we use energy?
Energy security is on everyone's agenda. As you know, countries like India and China would need huge amount of energy going forward. If India is to grow at 8 to 10% a year, the biggest challenge is going to be energy. When we look at energy today, we find that the options are many, from hydro to coal to nuclear, solar, wind, biomass, biogas, even ocean waves. Lot of experiments going on all over the world, but at the same time, bulk of the energy comes from coal. Though we have enough supply of coal in the world for maybe several hundred years, we still have to really look at environmental impact. So energy, climate change, environment, all sort of tie in together. Growing demand is a growing concern, is a big challenge. From my experience, I find that the energy architecture that we have had in the past needs to be changed completely, because in the past we have focused on big power plants, big utilities, whether generating power through hydro or coal or whatever, and then massive distribution lines running all over the country. And as a result, losses are huge. As a result, you go from AC to DC, because at the end, you need DC power. Sometimes the power that comes to the source, bulb, is only 20% of the power you have generated. 80% gets lost in the process. Now, that's not very efficient. So what you really need is a distributed architecture based on DC power and off-grid. But these are wild ideas that utilities can't fathom it. They would immediately say, oh, this will never work. So I've been saying that there are lessons to learn from telecom. That's my background. And when I look at telecom, I realize that the turning point in telecom was 1984, breaking up of AT&T. World over. That one decision in US triggered series of things world over to bring telecom where it is today. As soon as we broke the monopoly, people from other industry came in to participate. Software, semiconductor industry, and others got into telecom. So the scale of innovation changed in telecom substantially. Deregulation, privatization basically changed the landscape of telecom. What started in US then started in Europe, then started in other parts of the world, and telecom is now completely deregulated all over. Power is not deregulated. Second lesson is, in telecom, we went from centralized switching systems with massive copper power lines to decentralized cellular phones. Cost got reduced, network was all wireless, power was distributed. I think we must learn these lessons and see how we can apply these to power. There are lots of low-hanging fruits. in power. So one would be really paying attention to decentralized power, DC power. In addition, use IT technology to improve grids. Today, there is perhaps less than 2% of the investments goes in IT. You probably need a lot more. Then IT will begin to control the grid, make it more reliable, dependable, sort of switchable and all that. Okay. Then when you look at smart grids, which is part of this, you really need to focus on microgrids. So you have solar power, biogas, wind in local areas, whether in communities, technology parks, villages, and then connect them through small grid, independent, and not really bring everything to the central power. Microgrid requires a lot of innovation. And power utilities don't spend enough time and money on R&D. Power people invest 3 to 4% on R&D. Telecom, semiconductors and others spend 10-15% on R&D. But utilities have no interest in that kind of R&D. So this is the real challenge today. And I find that at the end of the day, there is very little political will to redesign the power architecture. Energy architecture requires a great deal of leadership, new mindset, political will, and it's just lacking in the system.
Another aspect of energy, of course, is around transportation. So in addition to electricity that comes out of the grid, the petrol that we use relative to transportation, do you see opportunities to shift in this area as well?
Yes, if you look at the overall use of power, one is really the transportation, which is a big piece, auto and all. Second is buildings of all kinds. Third is industry. Fourth is lighting on the streets and all. Okay. Fifth now is IT, because all these data centers are energy guzzlers. They suck a lot of power. So when you look at these 5-6 major areas, each one requires different kind of solution. Each one offers some solutions immediately. So you can't have one energy equation for all of these. For example, I'm told that in auto, you get 17% carbon dioxide emission, which is huge. Now, if India and China had the kind of autos that US has, it'll be a global disaster.
A game over scenario.
Absolutely. Then you look at buildings. There are lots of things we can do with insulation, LED lights, sensors, controls, to really reduce energy requirement of buildings. You drive around in any major urban areas in the US, lights are on at night in all the buildings. That's a lot of energy being sucked up. Do you really need that after 5? Okay. So when I look at overall energy requirements, I think world today probably needs, some estimates are $20-30 trillion of energy investment by 2030. India needs today $600 billion in energy.
For infrastructure.
Yeah, the overall investment in energy. infrastructure, road and all that is separate.
Mm.
India plans to spend in the next 5 years $1 trillion on infrastructure, which include road and transport and all. Energy is a big piece of it.
Mm.
You know, how do you get this kind of investment? You know, and unless and until you really innovate in a big way on energy, you're not going to get there. You know, and we are not innovating in a big way. A lot of our thoughts on energy are very incremental. Solar has still not become really cost effective. Wind is also not that cost effective. But then the cost effectiveness has to be seen in totality. Once again, you got to look at bigger picture and not slices and dice it. You know, and I think energy is going to remain a challenge for a long time to come. There are lots of interesting opportunities for innovations in energy. One of the things I would like to see is a solar paint. Maybe it is 20, 30, 40 years down the road, but if you just paint a car or a bus with this paint, you can take 2 wires and run the vehicle.
Mm.
I mean, that's the dream.
Yeah.
It may not happen. Okay, but I think opportunities are limitless. You look at biotech and energy. I mean, there are so many interesting possibilities in terms of creating different kind of fuel. From ocean, you can get seaweeds, you can get algae, and really create pellets that you can burn like coal and make energy out of it. There is some work going on in Scandinavian countries on ocean waves. And we have been working on it. We've been scientists for a long time, but it's still not there. So I think energy research needs a lot more dollars. Energy research has not invested like IT, telecom, semiconductors. And if you don't invest, you don't get anything out of it. Like I said earlier, energy invests 4% on R&D, biotech invests 20%, defense 12%, ICT more than 10%. There is no comparison. And then you wonder why you don't get too much research and innovation in energy.
Yes.
I mean, I know someone out of California who invests a lot of money in geothermal. Wherever there are fault lines, you go in, you push water, using hot water, you generate energy. Can you make it cost effective? I think that's the challenge. A lot of this stuff is still not cost effective.
Yes. Yes.
Solar does offer some hope because it is DC distributed power, you know, but we haven't really gotten to a level where we could say the cost picture is clear.
Well, part of that too is around the battery technology or the fuel cell technology that would store from methods like solar or wind as well. So when you talk about research into the storage,
Battery technology research, storage is the big area. I don't think we have really focused a lot on it. You know, I mean, there are companies doing a lot of battery research, but we haven't found the best solutions. You know, I mean, all kinds of modern batteries have been tried for television program, I believe, on 60 Minutes or something, on Bloom box or some energy that
the Bloom box, yeah.
Bloom box. Somebody from NASA has developed, a lot of the IT companies, Google's and others are using it. And the other day I was having a discussion with someone on it, and he said the cost is still not there. You know, what we really need, according to me, especially in countries like India, is totally distributed, maybe based on solar, a new architecture for small villages, because they need energy. Energy is the lifeline.
Sure.
You need energy to do not only, a lot of the household work, but also to run your factories, to run your farm properly, to read at home, for your children. So energy is the key. And there are millions and millions in this world who are deprived of just a regular light bulb. You know. And with all the technology we have today, there is just no reason for it.